This video was curated to help beauty industry professionals revive their creative juices. Do not lose hope. Do not think that you're losing your edge. The industry will need you more than ever when you return. Now, as you watch this video, start using your visualization skills and stop allowing doubt to creep into your head. Without further ado, the Mons experience. Properly securing the neck strip will help to maintain a constant barrier between the neck and the cape. Folding the shirt collar inward makes for a smoother cape draping. Always drape from a front-facing position and never over and in front of a client's face. Line up the appropriate snap enclosure so that the cape isn't too tight, which could cause neck irritation. Folding the neck strip over the cape keeps the cape from rising up and making contact with the neck. I'm starting my low taper with the OA detachable blade with a grip pressure of about 4. You want to make sure that you're constantly combing the hair away so that you can see what you've previously cut. Now I'm going underneath my OA with my 000 with the same amount of grip pressure. Now I'm going to put on my 1A and I'm going to take that underneath the 1 1/2, which was used closer to the parietal ridge. Before I started cutting the hair, I visualized what it would look like from beginning to end. Now I'm going to put on my number 1 and I'm going to do some corner cutting right underneath the 1A, and I'm going to try to attack every third particle of hair. Now I'm going to do some shear over comb to take down the weight line above the 1 1/2 at the parietal ridge. Now I'm going to throw my 1 1/2 on, and I'm going to do the smoothing technique while cutting with the grain. I'm going to start framing out my outline. I'm a bit ambidextrous, but I like to start with the right side while constructing the vertical line first. A great outline will make a bad haircut look decent, but a bad outline will ruin a good haircut. Patience and precision always pays off. Don't reach for the low-hanging fruit and take shortcuts. When you begin to construct the frontal line, lower your chair and take a bird's eye view perspective. The same steps that I took on the right and left side are the same steps that I'm going to use to approach the nape of the neck. Right now I'm just gonna kind of carve out what the shape of the taper is gonna look like. I want the transition line to pop, so I'm going to clean up the rest of the hair on the neck. I'm going to give myself a little head start here, and I'm going to create a line just on the other side of the arch of the ear at around the 3 o'clock position. You want to make sure that you cut every single little piece of hair that's on the outer perimeter of the outline. That's what's really going to make your lines pop. What you do to one side, you're going to mirror on the other. I'm going to create my vertical line, and I'm going to go up to the 9 o'clock position because we're on the right side. And from that 9 o'clock position, I'm going to do the ear arching technique and take it all the way around to 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, which is at the front side of the ear. Once again, I'm cleaning my canvas as I'm constructing my lines, and it is my duty to cut each and every last piece of hair that's out of place. Now I'm going to start at the nape of the neck with my 1 1/2, and I'm doing the C motion stroke. I'm making sure that I don't go in too steep because his occipital bone is about a couple of inches just below that. So I'm going to continue to do the C motion technique, and I'm going to ride along. I'm going to ride up to the occipital bone while trying to cut each hair evenly. As you can see, his hair is very curly, so curly hair tends to run away from the clippers. Okay, now I'm back to my OA detachable, and I'm doing some corner cutting here. I'm going in each direction that the hair grows in. I refer to this as the windshield wiper technique. You'll see my left and right corner of the detachable blade move from left and right as I try to go in the opposite direction, but making sure that I'm going, in an even direction and I'm not cutting across the hair, because as we know, you cut the most hair when you go against the grain. You cut a lesser amount when you go across, and you cut the least amount when you go with the grain. So the haircut is shaping up really nicely. After I use the OA, I'm going to go back to my 000, but I'm going to make sure that this first step is complete before I move on to the second step. You should also keep in mind that your comb to cut ratio should be higher. You should be combing more than what you're cutting. And there's a very good reason for that, and I'll explain it in my next video. What I'm doing right here is I'm going to go in and I'm really going to define that line, that vertical line that I constructed initially. Now I'm going to just take that up to the 9 o'clock position, but now I'm going to go right into the arch, the natural arch around the ear. And as you can see, I'm using my index finger to keep the ear folded away so that I don't cut his ear. But also that index finger also helps me to stabilize the clipper as I'm creating the shape that I'm looking for. Now I'm making my way up to the 12 o'clock position, and I'm going to work my way around the arch until I get to the 3 o'clock position. And now I'm just gonna use my windshield wiper technique, in which I'm gonna drag the trimmer blade down ever so slightly beneath that line to clean up all of the microscopic pieces of hair. And I'm still hanging on to the ear with my index finger to stabilize my trimmer. And now I'm just gonna work my way back into the nape of the neck on the right side, and just doing a little bit of cleanup work here, making sure that I don't miss any little piece of hair. And more than likely I'll go back in with a single edge razor just to put the finishing touches on it. But for the most part, this right side is done. This is one of my favorite parts of the haircut, and that's creating the C-cup. When you're creating the C-cup, you want to make sure that you're moving in a clockwise direction, because if you try to move in a counterclockwise direction, me personally, I feel like I don't have as much control with the right side. I'll come down with the right side near the sideburn, but the left side on the right side works best as far as control, and vice versa when you're working on the left side. So right now I'm just taking 1 or 2 teeth of the trimmer, and I'm just fading in the bottom line underneath the 000. Once again, what you do to one side, you should mirror on the other. So as I'm taking on a sort of a bird's eye view, I'm making sure that both of those lines are at the same height. So I'm moving back and forth. And the left side here, I need to work on the vertical line a little bit more. But I'm just going in here and I'm making sure that the horizontal line matches up with the vertical line. And I don't have that, I don't like for my lines to be rounded. So I'm just going in right now and I'm creating that cross section, and I'm making sure that I define the right line that's coming out of the C-cup so that it's in line and it's even. There's an even amount of space in between the eyebrow, so that looks like it's pretty sharp for the most part. And it's just a little heavy line here, so what I like to do is do a little clip rover comb here, take out some of that weight line and blend it in a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm continuously combing because those little pieces of hair will get stuck and intertwine in between each other, and you'll be cutting hair. You'll be thinking that you're cutting hair, you're actually not. So it's critical that you comb away those pieces of hair that have previously been cut. I'm fastly approaching the end of this haircut here, just doing a little bit of detail work here before I move over to the left side. And this is just me finalizing the right side of the head, and I'll just continue to work that line a little bit. This line looks like it's pretty sharp, so more than likely I'll still go over it with a straight razor just to show you the straight razor technique. So here we are with a straight razor on the right side, and the first step is just cleaning up the hair that's on the forehead. If you look very closely, his skin is pretty light, so you have to look carefully, but there's still hair there. And a lot of times you can't see it until it starts to accumulate on the blade. So I'm just cleaning up around the ear a little bit here. So the right side is done for the most part. Cleaned his eyebrows up a little bit, and I'm just carving out the C-cup a little bit. And now I'm going to start to do the top side of his right eyebrow, and more than likely I'll go in with my Camasoid shears, and then I'll stretch the skin on the bottom side to make that line even. This is just a part of finalizing the haircut. I'm just taking my time, doing some detail work. Whenever you're working on the eyebrows and the eyelid, you have to be very, very careful, because it's easy to cut the skin. The skin is very loose, and the eyelids are, the skin is very loose, so you got to make sure that you keep it taut. Right here, I'm just combing the wild and the longer pieces of hair in an upward position so that I can go in with my shears and cut them neatly. This is the final cleanup technique in which I'm taking my razor in and I'm taking it in as you can see, in a clockwise direction, and I'm going against the grain, and I'm taking off the very little microscopic piece of hair. And the key to this technique here is making sure that you keep the skin taut. And you want to make sure that you don't go into that original line. The razor blade is super sharp and it's very easy for you to go in, and if you go in there, you will indeed ruin all the good work that you've done. Okay, so I'm taking my shears now and I'm going to shape the sides as well as the top. I did set the roots of his hair with the dryer, which did change the texture. His hair is typically really curly, and I also picked it out. But right now I'm gonna create that circular shape so that when I do put some product in his hair, it'll still have a nice, it'll be a nice balanced haircut. We're at the end of the haircut now, and I'm gonna show you guys the end results. Thanks for hanging in and watching.